This 17 News at Noon podcast is brought to you by Clinica Sierra Vista.
Welcome back to the 17 News at Noon podcast, where we share your news on your schedule.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thanks for being with us for 17 News at Noon. I'm Maddie Jansen in today for Elena Rusk. The California Highway Patrol says a semi-truck filled with bottles of wine burst into flames on Highway 58 last night. It happened just before 10 p.m. on the Tower Line Road off-ramp. Kern County Fire Department responded to put out the flames, but once they learned what was in the truck, we're told crews actually had to let the trailer burn to keep the wine from spreading. No word yet on what caused the fire or just how much wine was inside. The CHP says no one was hurt. The family of a man who was killed in a hit and run in Southwest Bakersfield Friday night is speaking out. Derek Lee Ramirez Morgan was hit just before 10 p.m. on White Lane near Real Road. The driver sped off before police arrived. His sister-in-law Hannah Cates tells 17 News it was Morgan's 39th birthday, and he was headed home from bowling with his family. The family's still reeling from this sudden loss, hoping drivers who've been drinking will consider the consequences before they get behind the wheel. Police say they're searching for a gray mid-2010s model Subaru WRX sedan with front-end damage. A GoFundMe's been set up to help lay Morgan to rest, and we have a link to it on our website, kget.com. 17 Court Watch now. A suspected DUI driver accused of killing a 77-year-old woman is expected to be sentenced this afternoon. Imogene Flippin was killed in the crash on August 13th last year on Olive Drive, east of State Road. While lying in a hospital bed after the crash, Ariana Hernandez told officers she drank alcohol and consumed marijuana before driving. Regardless of which statement was accurate, reports say Hernandez's blood alcohol content tested at 0.16%, twice the legal limit. Hernandez, who pleaded no contest to 5 felonies, faces up to 14 years in prison. A former California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation lieutenant was sentenced today for trying to set up a sexual encounter with someone he believed was a 13-year-old girl. Jose Donaciano Valdez was one of 19 people arrested in an online sting operation conducted by the sheriff's office in April. In October, he pleaded no contest to contacting a minor with the intent to commit a sex act. Valdez had been out on bail, but was taken into custody immediately after the sentencing of 2 years probation, the first year to be served in custody. He must register as a sex offender for at least 10 years before he can petition to be removed from the state's registry. A Kern County prison set for closure, and another will shutter one of its facilities. The CDCR announced it would terminate its lease for the California City Correctional Facility, effectively ending the use of that facility as a state prison. It also plans to close Facility D at Tehachapi's California Correctional Institution. Tehachapi City Manager Greg Garrett slammed the decision in a statement, saying in part, "We know there will be both short-term and long-term harm in the region due to these decisions made in Sacramento." CCCI's lease is set to expire in 2024. It's unclear when CDCR plans to close the facility in Tehachapi, which officials estimate houses 800 prisoners.
Hello, this is Tim Callahan with Clinica Sierra Vista, and we're excited to unveil the Community Health Center of the Future, our comprehensive care center. It's located right across the street from Memorial Hospital. We have every service under one roof, from family medicine, OBGYN care, dental services for adults and children, behavioral health, and much more. So find your way to better care at Clinica Sierra Vista this year at our comprehensive care center. Visit our website, clinicasierravista.org, for the latest on this project. We'll see you soon.
All right, business news now. The worldwide supply chain delays of the past 2 years and the shortages and soaring prices that came with them are apparently over. Consumers stuck at home amid the pandemic had unleashed an avalanche of orders that overwhelmed factories and ports. Back in January, 109 container ships waited off the California coast to unload cargo in Los Angeles and Long Beach, the nation's 2 largest ports. Importers were paying $20,000 to send a single container from China to the United States, sometimes more than the goods inside were even worth. These days, no freighters are lingering off our coast, and containers from China go for just $2,000. California's minimum wage is set to increase at the start of next month, but despite mounting inflation, it will be the smallest increase since 2018. The new minimum wage for businesses in the state, regardless of the number of employees, will increase from the current rate of $15 an hour to $15.50. It will be the first time since 2018 that the minimum wage did not increase by $1 at the start of a new year. Under current state law, the quickest minimum wage increase in California could reach $18 an hour, and that would be 2028. And that would only happen if inflation reached or exceeded 3.5% for 5 years. It has been 81 years since the bombing of Pearl Harbor. A handful of Aryan survivors on the attack on Pearl Harbor will gather at the scene of the Japanese bombing to commemorate those who died that day. That's fewer than in recent years due to the dwindling number of survivors as they age. The youngest active duty military personnel on December 7th, 1941 would have been about 17, making them 98 today. Many of those still alive are at least 100. About 2,400 servicemen were killed in the bombing, which launched the U.S. into World War II. The USS Arizona alone lost 1,177 sailors and Marines, nearly half of the death toll. All right, now to news from around the world, and Time magazine has named Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, along with the Ukrainian people, as its annual Person of the Year as the country defends itself from an invasion by Russia. Time said Zelensky inspired Ukrainians and won global accolades for his courage in resisting Russia's brutal, devastating invasion. Refusing to leave Ukraine's capital of Kyiv at the outbreak of the war that started on February 24th as Russian bombs rained down, the former comedian rallied his compatriots in broadcasts from the capital and traveled across his war-torn nation. We are taking the 17 News at Sunrise show on the road this Friday morning for a special edition live from Holiday Lights at Calm. It's one of our favorite shows of the year where we really get you into the Christmas spirit with some live performances and all kinds of holiday fun, highlighting all of the beautiful lights out at Calm. So join us Friday morning live from Holiday Lights at Calm for our 17 News at Sunrise show.
The 17 News at Noon podcast is a production of KGET and Nexstar Media Group. For more on all of the headlines in today's show, head to kget.com.